Resolved, there shouldn't be any animal testing. An example from PETA is that we do not match with animals because our DNA is way different than us. This is significant because our body structure is way different than any other animal. So, who has a pet at home? Raise your hand.
No.
Alright. Do you look alike to your pet? Raise your hand. So, if you like your pet so much, would you want to give them a drug that was unapproved and not tested at all? Then you shouldn't like animal testing. So, according to NIH in Illinois, scientists recently tested 6 animals that was unnecessary. This is significant because one of the 6 studied its brain for a minor disease we already know. It's like when you're seeing your animal dying. So, it's like a poor kitty not choosing to, a defenseless kitty not choosing to be tested. Yes, that has happened. Scientists choose what animal would work best. This is significant because they would prefer monkeys than cats because monkeys share most of our body structure, but we're still not the same. It's cruel and inhumane, as Procon.com says. The fact that it's cruel and inhumane illustrates that animal testing is bad. It must be true because it will fit in. It's like, it's both the same. So I'm wrapping up my turn. And would you rather test us or animals? Here's a question. Why test different?
The opposing side says that animal experimentation should be stopped because animals are not the same as humans, so we'll get different results. But I disagree. Using that logic, we would have to test new drugs on humans. We live in a world where new advancements in medicine are not going to be allowed without proven test results. If animals are not used, then we must test them on ourselves, your friends, your loved ones. This reminds me of a time in our history where a leader felt that he could do experimentations on live human beings. This leader was Hitler. Because of the gruesome acts witnessed by the world, many countries, including the United States of America, signed the Nuremberg Code, which stated that any human experiment should be designed and based on the results of an animal's experimentation. This code has been revised twice since World War II, but still recognizes the need for animal experimentation before tests are done on humans. Therefore, saying we should not test on animals because we would not get the same results allows us to draw one conclusion possible: to test on ourselves.
The use of animals for biomedical research is needed in order to seek advances in human health. For almost 100 years, humans have tested on animals in order to prevent many deaths. Yet, people complain that what we're doing is wrong and it isn't needed. But if we didn't have animal testing, the science field wouldn't be advanced and many people would die not knowing how to save their lives. When most people hear animal testing, they think of animals being tortured. But in reality, there are more benefits on testing on animals than losses. Animal testing has allowed the science to further and understand how humans react to certain medications. According to an article in the London newspaper, it states that animal experiments have played a critical role in just about every medical breakthrough of the last century. They're vital for testing the safety of drugs, vaccines, and from common painkillers to advanced anti-cancer treatments. The most logical conclusion we can draw from this evidence is that if we didn't test on animals, people all over the world would be dead or suffering. The World Medical Association had an article with a strong opinion on this topic. The author explains that the use of animals in research has enabled scientists to identify new ways to treat illnesses, extend life, and improve health and well-being. Scientists perform and research in animals that have similar DNA to ours to help get the closest antidote for humans. It makes sense to try and create an antidote on DNA similar to us for it to be safe for humans. Without the continuation of animal testing, we would not be able to understand how we would react to new medications or how we would cure future illnesses. If the antidote given to an animal works, the animal and the humans are safe. In the article by the Gale Group, it states that the thalidomide tragedy, in which a drug prescribed to combat nausea in pregnant women caused birth defects of 10,000 European babies. It was largely avoided in North America because federal health and drug agencies believe it was inadequately tested on animals. This is significant because it shows the importance of animal testing and the impact it would have if we didn't have animal testing. The article also talks about how the scientists are trying to reduce the amount of animals for testing by using tissue cells and organs, but they still need the living organisms. The most significant conclusion we can draw from this evidence is that the use for animal biomedical research is necessary because as much as scientists are trying to reduce the amount of animals used, we can't use cell tissues and organs for every test needed. Therefore, we should do animal testing to find new cures for humans and animals. Testing animals and their diseases could prevent humans from getting animal infectious diseases. A couple of months ago, when the Ebola epidemic occurred in the southern of the U.S. and various places in Africa, it impacted thousands of people. If we had studied and found a cure for Ebola before becoming a great epidemic on persons and animals, many deaths could have been stopped. The fact that if we had found the cure for Ebola illustrates that we should do animal testing in order to prevent an outbreak or epidemic. Also, according to Delia Grace, a veterinary epidemiologist who is also an expert with the International Livestock Research Institute, from sites causing tapeworms to avian flu, zoonoses present a major threat to human and animal health, after reducing severe levels of poverty and illnesses among the world. Delia states that it would reduce poverty and illnesses, and that's something we should be looking forward to. Therefore, it is important that we test animals and their diseases to prevent human and epidemics and outbreaks. As you can see, even though living organisms sometimes have to be sacrificed in order to keep humans alive, the outcome pays off well. Also, testing humans is just not correct because the life of a human is far more important than the life of an animal.
As the opponent may say, it's beneficial to test on animals, but we disagree because there's a law that says that we cannot abuse animals. This is significant because after they testing, they can still die of starvation, thirst, and inhalation of harsh air particles. The reason why they do that is because they could run away, or they could just defend themselves and try to get out. Therefore, even though my opponent may say that it's really beneficial to the scientist environment, these animals are being hurt outside of the drugs.